don't
Just
matter.
like
China
just
in the
like the sun
firmament.
is.
China in the firmament, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right, then you'll be able to see it.
Shit. It's still a matter of perspective, man. If standing in Arizona, you cannot fucking see China. No.
Why not? If it was flat, if the Earth was flat, you would be able to.
Because it's mountains in motherfucking elevation and depressions and
Not
shit.
if you was at the tallest point. If you at the
I'm
highest
saying when I
point,
was on the plane, bro,
it's
all I could
What?
see was the horizon. I
it,
didn't. I mean, I was
it
actually looking.
three
I could
thousand
see the
feet in
top
the
of the
air.
clouds, and after that, after so far, you can't see nothing.
Exactly.
If it was flat, you should be able to see all type of shit in the distance.
Exactly.
How?
What you mean? How?
What you mean? How? Just like you can see that, you can see more shit. Why does a certain point where it stop at?
Man, like I'm telling you, man, there's only so many places you can fly, and there's so much elevation you can motherfucking go. Like you can't even go freely. You think because you can go to some of these little places, you going somewhere, but why you can't go to where the Rupert Negro at? You know what I'm saying? Why you can't go
Oh
to the
man,
North
man.
Pole? Why you
Because you
can't go to
gonna
the
die.
North?
Ain't no civilization out there.
Why
Ain't nothing for
why
human life out there.
why we can't go to the North Pole? Why we
Because
can't
you gonna die if you go.
the
All
North
right, all
Pole?
right, yeah.
Yes, you gonna die.
Why am I
One
going?
mic, y'all. One mic,
Because you gonna
one mic. We
freeze to
recording.
death. Ain't you gonna
Hey, hold on.
freeze?
One mic, y'all. Welcome everybody to the Just Talk Show. You know what I mean? We got that open recording going there. We want to thank all our subscribers. We want to thank all our guests for joining us today. We got CJ in the building. We got Ziggy in the building. You know me, SG, the host with the most. You know what I'm saying? We're getting this show rolling. We just having open discussion today. You know what I mean? Recently, I just went on a flight. You know what I mean? Coming back from cross country doing a little trip, and we discussing the flat Earth again. But we got a host of topics. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna finish on that. My point is on that. I'm on the plane. I couldn't see nothing but the horizon. If it was truly flat, I probably could see a little farther across the country, at least across the state. Cause traveling in a plane, I don't know how fast we were going, but shit, we got from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Denver in like 2 hours. So you know what I mean. I definitely seen all the the farmland and everything, but it was definitely no no, I couldn't see Denver while I was in the plane leaving Pittsburgh. So
Exactly.
even though
So, even
Denver got mountains.
yeah, that's why I'm saying even the highest elevation you get to, we know the Earth is round because of the curvature of it. Once you get so high up, you can only see so far. But you can still look, and you can't say that your eyes can only see so far because we can see the sun, we can see the moon, we can see the stars, and they way out there. Even though people say it's
They're
in the
not they're
firmament,
not
even
way they're
though
not
people say
way out anywhere. They're not way out anywhere.
even though people say it's in the firmament, it's still right here inside the firmament. Everything on the earth is in the firmament, so we should be able to see it from a distance. Is all I'm saying.
Man, well, y'all killed this firmament crap. That was one word in the Bible, and
I
people just
know,
running
man.
with it. There's all
That's
type of
crazy.
stuff in the Bible, and everybody talking about firmament. Man, firmament
No,
just mean atmosphere, man.
no, there's more to it than that. It's several quotes in the Bible like a foundation and it shall not be moved. What does that say? That's concrete. That's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's brick and mortar. So it's other things besides just the firmament, my brother.
All right, we don't want to
And,
alienate
and,
nobody in their
and,
firmament.
and, and there's further things that you can elaborate with in the book of Enoch to further educate the viewers that they can educate themselves on. You know, don't sit back and wait for somebody to feed it to you. Go out and seize it for yourself because that's what people that have higher intelligence are going to do. They're going to seek knowledge. So, you know what I'm saying? Just understand that it's a reason that that book was removed, and he's quoted to like you know of him throughout the Bible. Like, oh, I'm supposed to know who that is. Of course you are, because it's directly quoted from in the book of Jude in the Bible. So just understand that it was removed because it didn't fit the narrative of what the people these days want to portray to you as Christianism and stuff like that. I don't want you to follow within a Christian or that type of person. I want you to be more spiritual about your enlightenment. I want is more personal than that. Is a big. It's true enough. You can come together and collaborate with others, but is about you being a higher being and taking yourself to the next level.
I mean, well, I'm so glad you brought it. I mean, I agree exactly on that. You know what I mean? Everybody got to do their own research. But since you brought up the book of Enoch, uh, I suggest our viewers dive into it. You can look at audio breakdown on YouTube. But one thing, and y'all can quote me on this and see if I'm accurate on this. I believe it said that in the book of Enoch, since we taking everything with validity that the Bible says in the well, even in that it's not in the book in the Bible, but it's a book. But basically, the book of Enoch said that God came and picked up Enoch and took him into space, and he seen the curvature of the earth, and he seen the waters of the earth and the lands of the earth and all that stuff. What you guys did you read that part or did you skip over it?
No, I didn't skip over
Flip flop.
anything. Everything is in perspective. That's was Enoch's perspective. It was he said he was taken away. They say in a chariot fire, just like they said with Elijah. So it's not indifferent. It was how it was described back then, as far as encounters, it happens all the time, you know what I'm saying? But they were just relating the information in a different way. Like when they say an angel came, that's a ET in a one-on-one contact coming to talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
okay, exactly. And if we taking Enoch's word for it, he said that he was brought up in the chariot and he was taken above the earth and he seen the curvature, he seen the round earth, he seen the
if
waters of the
he
earth, and he said he seen the
if
seven heavens, which
if
was
if
alleged to be the stuff that he seen
the,
inside of the spaceship. Am
if
I
he's
accurate with
if
this? Or
he
am I
if he's seeing seven layers of heaven, then that means he's outside of the firmament. He has gone all the way up to where the throne and all that is sitting with the Father and all
yeah,
that. So
and so it's I don't mean to cut you off, but it's alleged that when he was in seeing the seven heavens, that he was in the spaceship and he was just saying different rooms. And the throne room was, I guess, the captain, the head, Anunnaki, or whoever, Yahweh, or whoever it was that scooped him up at the time. I mean, was it the creator? We don't know that. The true creator, or was it one of the ancient gods? You know what I mean? That's all up for debate.
But look at
But
this. This
if it was a spaceship, he was in. I'm saying that he was in different rooms in the spaceship. He seen the cloning chambers. He seen the the animals chambers. He seen the chamber where they had the throne room would be the control station. You know what I mean?
okay.
What
And
y'all
what if
think about
all
that?
this was just a dream that somebody was having and they wrote it down? That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Looking at it from my
well, we
point of
taking
view. From
everything
my point of
with
view.
validity, and we gonna say the firmament is real. We got to say what he was saying about the spaceship was real. And also
well,
about the
I'm just saying the reason he's mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to know who he is, and you know what I'm saying. He is Noah's great great grandfather too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that they're leaving out with Enoch. You know what I'm saying? So Noah would go on. His people, you know what I'm saying, would repopulate the earth, and still they had giants after that. So you know what I'm saying? It must have been the wise they chose that had the lineage of the giants in it, because it said when they made it to the promised land after Egypt, after the 40 years, they said, man, we look like grasshoppers compared to the people down there. So, you know what I'm saying? It was still giants even after the flood. So,
yeah, yeah, and I can attest to that. I believe that it was giants on the earth, and the earth was destroyed and rebuilt. So let me ask you this: this is a theory of mine. Since we getting into the flood and everything, what do y'all think about the Great Flood? Was it a just a regular weather event, or was it caused by God, quote unquote God, little G, big G?
I mean, it could have been a natural disaster. It could have been just a thunderstorm that lasted a little long time. It could have been a whole chain of events that happened. The meteor could have came down and splashed and made a tsunami and flooded for a while, and then just so happened it started raining, and you know what I'm saying? Just the clouds made it rain, and just like when volcanoes erupt, uh, people say rain and fire. You know what I'm saying? So that was a example of a volcano and rain and fire. They just trying to explain it to their way of terms of understanding it back then. Now we have different words to be able to break it down and understand it and be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. You know, kind of like metaphor. So what I'm getting at is people could have had some daydreams or a night dream and just thought about certain things and been like, oh, what if I write this down, or what if it happened, or what if such and such, or let's do this like this and maybe this will happen type deal.
Well,
You
you
know what I'm
saying
saying?
like so you saying like premonition, like Noah kind of like had a dream that this was gonna happen, and so he made the boat. I know somebody got some feedback in the background. I want this audio be clear. But if Noah did have a premonition, he had a hell of a premonition because it is evidence of the flood. I don't know, y'all heard of this dude Graham Carson. He I don't know, not Graham Carson, but whatever guy named Carson has been on Joe Rogan. He popularized the younger dryas event that where that's in the geological record where it shows that we went through an ice age and we went through a flood. And even as I was traveling across the United States, I seen the mountains and I seen the different, layout of the land, like traveling through West Virginia, looking at the Appalachian Mountains. It was amazing to me. And I'm thinking like, man, wow, how did these mountains happen? Was it just truly plate tectonics, or was it a global catastrophe that, what I mean, that reshaped the land? You know what I mean? That was popularized by Carson with the Younger Dryas event. Now that's actually in the geological record. The 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 scientists and the archaeologists and the geologists of these days, they want to shy away from that. But with all these old professors dying off, the new wave, the new knowledge is coming out with the weatherization of the Sphinx, and the timeline of history is changing. I mean, we can actually see it. There's no more gatekeepers with the internet. So we can actually get on these platforms and discuss these things, you know what I mean? So if the Younger Dryas event did happen, one would say that is the flood of Noah. And like Ziggy said, I believe it was an asteroid event. Probably hit the ocean. All the water went up in the ocean and it had to come down. As far as the waters below, we all know that there's oceans under the ground. You know what I mean? If it
It,
was a
it didn't. It
catastrophic
didn't.
event,
It wouldn't take all that. All it would take is for the ring of fire to get lit up. That's volcanoes up under the earth shaking, causing tsunamis at the same time. While they're leveling all this black smoke out, that would send that world into an ice age right there, because it would blot out the sun.
exactly. And it's
Things like
evidence
that.
again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
No, I was just saying things like that can happen. So you got to take in accountability of just taking of what one person say and running with it. Just like the Bible say, you got to lean not into your own understanding, but at the same time, you got to understand from different points of views. So don't just take one view and be like, oh well, this person was right, and we might should think like this or think that they did this right here for this. Because
That's narrow. That's narrow-minded thinking or
no,
closed-minded.
think
You got to
about it.
be
It's just
open
like
to.
hey, how they say the serpent come and to Eve and tell her to eat the apple or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That could have been a different type of
Well, it's a
metaphor.
reason. It's a reason why that he did that, because God spoke to Adam and not to Eve, and told him to tell her not to do it. That's the difference. He spoke to Adam. Adam had already been talked to.
But that's the
Eve never
thing.
got.
If it's God, why he
Eve.
couldn't just
Eve.
talk to both
Eve
of them?
never got. Eve never got talked to. She never got talked to. So obviously, Adam didn't put his thing down where a nigga can come up and tell her to do something, and I ain't around and she do it. So that's him being lame to his game. You can't fault the devil or Satan or whatever fictitious character you want to put there. You can't fault him for he was playing his game. He is the Lord of the earth. So he was playing his game because this is the only place that he can do it at.
But can we
If
really
you can
truly
get
fault Adam because Eve wasn't satisfied? I mean, it's an ongoing joke they had on what was that the Joe show, whatever his name was. He had made a joke with old girl. He was like, so Eve had everything she wanted and they had everything they wanted in the garden, had eternal life, all the food they can eat. They was one with God. But Eve she just wasn't satisfied. She wanted more. She wanted
well,
to eat the
you
tree they ain't
know,
supposed to eat. So is that really on Adam?
it is on Adam because Adam was supposed to give her everything she needed if she didn't have to be connected to the hip right there where he was at. Ain't nobody else supposed to be able to talk to you and get you to do something without me being around. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. She made a my real. How this other nigga or this snake or whatever you want to refer to him as, he obviously was speaking really good because of the simple fact he was able to sway and convey her to do something different than what her man had told her to do. So
So, so I guess we lead into a broader topic, man. This is a thing that's kind of been on my forefront lately. Women, in my opinion, women are more, and we can have some of the women chime in on this in their opinion. For our audience, we don't want to thank y'all for joining. If you're still with us, we want some of our women to chime in on this. So this is the question: Are women are this is more of a statement? Women are driven more by emotions, and men are driven by logic. Now, case in point. Adam, he was logically in there. He was one with nature. He one with God. He was more like an animal is right now. Going off of instinct. We got food. We got everything we need. We here to procreate, and to be one with God and in nature. Now the woman, she was driven by emotion. She wanted more. She wanted to eat of the forbidden tree. She was seduced by the serpent. Adam, like, man, don't go over there messing with that serpent. We ain't studying that serpent. Who is he? We ain't studying that tree. God said don't eat that tree. We ain't worried about it. But Eve was tempted, as they say, driven by emotion. So the question is it true that women are driven by emotion and men are driven by mostly logic? Just talk.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true because they're the nurturers. They have to give. That's an emotion. That's a love is an emotion that they have to nurture this infant or this child that bore. I toted in my stomach all these months, and you know what I'm saying. Because all we do is go. You know what I'm saying. Fertilize the egg, and then once we drop the semen off, man, it's kind of is we pretty kind of out the picture. We can feed her to nurture her in that sense, but as far as anything else, there's nothing else that you really can do for the infant child other than try to just make sure that mentally or emotionally that she's stabilized or what I'm saying in a good head space or something like that. But the 100% is on her until it makes it into the world. Then you can start providing for them, getting up, changing the diaper, fixing bottles, all this, that, and the third. But you can't. That don't come into play until after the 9 months or the 10 months of what I'm saying while you having the baby or whatever.
And then like I said, it ain't nothing wrong with it. Like I said, it ain't nothing wrong with a woman being driven by emotion, a man being driven by logic because it sounds negative on the surface, but really we here to complement each other when it's one good union, like you said. What I mean, man, more practical going out there handling what need to be handled. You don't need to be all emotional and all this, and you do need a woman to be more emotional to take care of the household and be a loving and to be a certain not even just the household, just to be a naturer. You know what I mean? I mean a nurturer. Period. So we have to give and take. We got a little background noise, y'all. Let's see if we can tighten that up. We want this broadcast to be audio appealing to the masses. So let's tighten that up. But what you got to say about that, Ziggy?
Man, it just go both ways. Women think logically, men think logically. It could have been a race war. It could have been men versus women in the beginning, and but we all know. I'm gonna be honest. We all know women. I feel like women are. a little bit more powerful than men because they give life. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that they can do that we can't do, and of course we got strength. You know, we might can out strengthen, we might can out beat them up or something, but at the end of the day, we need women, and you know, it's just like it's that's our species. So we just gotta all come together, like you said, and we gotta know that you can't be man and man. You gotta be man and woman, so you can reproduce and keep the human race going. Let's do it like that.
That's just talk, just talk. You know what I'm saying? It was always have to be a, you know what I'm saying, Steve, and you know what I'm saying, Eve. It can't be just, you know what I'm saying, dude on dude. If we trying to have, you know what I'm saying, next line. It can't be woman on woman if we trying to have a next line. So that's how we got to all these people being on the earth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything to shame any view or anything, but you know, if the purpose of having, you know what I'm saying, intercourse is to procreate, then you know, let's just be real about it.
Yeah. And the case is open on that. You know what I'm saying? We do respect everybody's sexual orientation, but you know, we just like, you know, everybody, even I think most people that's gay or whatever can attest to that. It was, you know, it's something that is I would, you know, even though they had that feeling in their heart, but you know, it's the you just look at nature and see that it was supposed to be like that. But they do say the frogs turning gay. Anyway. And you do have some species that can reproduce on their own that don't need a male
And a seahorse,
assimilation.
and a seahorse also.
Yeah, seahorses and like even the chicken, I think they don't really have sex with the roosters. The roosters just stimulate they you know, they pheromones or whatever and make
Fertilize the
them
egg,
yeah, exactly. So
but
but the
still,
science is out on that, you know what I mean? We support all our guests, you know what I mean? But you know, we regular people from Mississippi, but we do support all
even,
our
even though
guests.
the female can lay the egg, she still need that man over there to come fertilize it to bring it into
Yeah,
another being. Is what I'm saying. So, um,
As we were saying that, you know, the man can come lay his semen off, but like I said, that's the end of his road as far as the carrying portion. The woman has to either come sit on him or whatever she got to do to get them to where they going.
yeah.
exactly. So it takes two to tango, basically, you know what I mean? So CJ, do you got any more topics we can get into, man, on this open conversation on Just Talk Show? We wanna
Man,
we want
man, you know me, you know what I'm saying? I'm a former soldier boy, so I'm interested in this Israel and Iran jumping off like this. Like I'm like, golly, is we finna have World War III like this here. And I'm like, golly, I don't wanna my son's getting drafted over no crap over in Israel, man. That ain't, you know what I'm saying, nothing we got ain't benefiting me or my family in any type of way. So I don't understand why we gotta be nosing around in their business. Let them handle their own business. Let Israel defend Israel. Let, you know what I'm saying, and let Iran. You know what I'm saying. I don't want them having a nuclear program if they trying to blow up the world with nuclear bombs. No, but I don't want them just being murdered. You know what I'm saying. At the same time, just unexpectedly, because we would go to war with a country if they just bombed the location of ours, and you know what I'm saying, they were like, okay, now do something about it. You know, it would be hell on wheels for somebody else to pay. But I guess that's the thing about having the biggest stick, you know. So you can just walk around like, well, I got the biggest stick, and if you want to say something, you know, I'm gonna hit you with it. So
just talk. I mean, that's an interesting perspective. I mean, me personally, man, I feel like that you know, the people you know, we had a mandate just when we had a mandate with immigration and all that. We had a mandate that the people didn't want to go to war. We was done with these proxy wars and these useless wars, man. We voted against Ukraine. We voted for peace in the Middle East. And it seems like to me, man, Trump is you know, he right on script. I mean, these people he tried to make peace and he, you know, what happened? I mean, is Netanyahu just Debo like that where he can just supersede Trump? And so who really in charge here? Or do y'all think Trump just going along with the military industrial complex with the same status quo. Just talk. Let's put his feet to the fire. What's really going on?
Man, I don't know what's going on in the White House because I don't follow the White House like you know what I'm saying that, but at the same time, I would hope that that's what he would want, you know, for the American people. Why would you want the American people drug into a war? And we just got out of Afghanistan and Iraq like what 2 3 years ago. So that's nothing. We want another 20-year war. That was billions of dollars never to get back. You know that was priceless lives lost. You know they can never be gotten back. You know so that's thousands of soldiers with PTSD now, you know, as a result. So that's just thing that you can't get back. So I'm just saying, let's not get into that. So we won't have to come to that because you know it's gonna come to that eventually. Because by us for trying to be the big brother, you know, it would be better if we were doing it with the UN. Then we wouldn't have done it all maliciously. You know, we'd have gave them, hey, stop doing this, or we're gonna come hit these spots, and then we gonna just take the stuff, and
Yeah, I mean that made more sense.
then
What happened back in the day? They did have the UN inspectors go in and check stuff and see what they're doing at the facility, even though they can hide it. But I mean, they didn't even try that. I mean, you know how you just blankly nuke these people when everybody else got bombs? That's the only nuclear bomb. That's the only way you really can ensure your your uh your your stature in the global positioning. If you don't have a nuclear bomb and an army and a bank, the bank dollar, petrodollar, you really have no voice in this world. Just the haves and the have-nots. I mean, what we got? We got North Korea has one. We got Pakistan and India. They just got into a little skirmish. You know what I mean? Russia, China. You know what I mean? America's the only people that actually use the bomb. So I'm obviously anti-Iran having the bomb, especially since it's ran by a caliphate, which is a, a, a religious a religious government. I mean, you know, religious people they might say, okay, I want to bring the end of the world just so we can see Muhammad and Jesus come back. I mean, you know, what I mean, they might just be on some suicide cult type stuff just to get their agenda going. May same thing that like Israel doing. They want to bring in their Messiah and they know they got to have war. And so it's
yeah,
it's the
they Israel have been having the Red Bull and all this thing. These things have been happening. You know, the ushering in. You know that people think it's just a phenomenon is that Red Bull that like that's natural. That's not natural. If when you had that red heifer, that means symbolize something spiritually. But people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? So because we so disconnected from the source, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to get people back on track. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us are tapping into different things, vibing at different levels, and if we could do what we're supposed to do, man, we could evolve as the people where we're communicating now instead of talking. We doing it through telepathy, man, and then that's gonna be the next level of human elevation. You know, because they're trying to do it with the computer with the neural link, but instead of doing that with a link, your brain can do that, man. If you can, you know what I'm saying, sit back and tap into your power.
it's an interesting concept. But look, I want you to hold that thought because we definitely can get into that next if you can remember it, because that's I got a lot to say on that. But let's hear from Ziggy. What do you think on the final take on that America, Iran, and Israel? Where we see this going and who's to blame and what do you got to take? What's your take on that?
Well, I follow Trump, but at the same time, I think he acted a little too fast. We supposed to wait until they, you know, what I'm saying, say that they had um, nuclear missiles or whatever, because they can, like somebody was saying, they can use nuclear power for nuclear power, not just for to enrich the uranium, make it into a bomb. So I feel like that was a little premature, you know, but at the same time, you know, hey, I mean, it is what it is. America stepping back up again, showing that hey, listen, we when we say goes, and you know take back over. But at the same time, they kind of waited too late because Russia and China already got more than what we got. So if they come together, it's I mean it's gonna be hard to kind of fight both of them. So My take on it, man, we really gotta slow down a little bit sometimes and let the hand play itself out and not try to be God on earth. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Uh, I don't know. I guess people try to change or predict or change the future or the course of the future or whatever. But I mean, you gotta just let it all play out. That's all I like to say. And then neurotechnology, the telepathy, they ain't gonna let that happen because there's too much privacy inside a person's mind that they want to go to the grave with. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't want people to be able to go in their minds and read or be able to them to incriminate themselves or say something. So I don't see that kind of happening too fast. But it's a possibility. Technology stepping up. You never know.
It's definitely a possibility. And like you said, back in the day, probably when we was quote unquote in the Garden with Eve before we became one with the ego and all that, let's say we probably did have a hive mind like the animals and stuff like that. They can communicate without words and they all like on one accord because it was no sin back then. It wasn't nothing to hide. You know what I mean? You're a wolf, you're eating a wolf because you're hungry. You're not plotting on the other wolf girlfriend because because she's sexy to you. You just want to be the alpha. So you gotta fight for that position. It wasn't the all the quote unquote sin, the knowledge of good and evil that people would have to hide. And case in point, like this, they say that if the great aliens and all these other civilizations that use these type of mind telepathy things, they all rumored to be on a hive mind. They all have one consciousness, and they just use a certain soul, interpolate a certain soul, or a certain AI body, or a little gray alien body just to experience the world. But they all are in one hive mind. And so, is that really where we want to go, or is mankind in love with their ego to even get that far? Just like
I
Ziggy
mean,
was
we've been
saying.
watching we've been watching animals for years and copying off of what they do. Look at the ant, you know what I'm saying? How they go store food for the winter or whatever you want to be. Um, it's a lot of animals that we just piggyback off of, and I feel like we should still do that because the animals know nature. You know what I'm saying? They know how to live on the earth. It's secondhand to them. They can be born and they already know what to do. We, on the other hand, we got to be taught what to do because we can't just it's they want to give us a society or make us what is it word I'm looking for I guess domestic civilians or
Domesticated.
whatever. But yeah. So
Domesticated.
yeah, so we don't just jump out knowing how to do certain stuff. Some animals come out knowing how to walk. We got to be taught how to do it or whatever. So it's a lot of things that, like I said, we can learn from animals that we should keep on studying and building up from them.
Yeah, you're right. And then you do have the similar sometime in nature where you have the bird may teach the other little cubs how to wrestle, or they learn stuff if they know, but it's mostly all instinct. You know what I mean? The bear might teach this is how you get this stick and get this honey. But I believe that bear would have figured that out along the
It-
course of the way. You know what I mean?
exactly, but that's what I'm saying. We the only ones that really have to teach each other how to do certain things. We don't just jump out the womb knowing how to do certain things. We might kind of know how to talk or know how to move around, but we can't. We wouldn't know how to fish until somebody taught us.
Yeah,
So
I
now
mean,
I,
well,
I
you
want
wouldn't
humankind,
know
we
how
have.
to
I,
cook. You
I
wouldn't know how
want
to
to play
cook.
Go ahead.
I want to play the devil's advocate here, and literally the devil's advocate. And we were talking about Adam and Eve and how he was able to sway her. What if he been victimized? That he was the knowledge giver. We've been giving him a bad rap because if these people running around naked and all this other stuff, and when immediately when they eat the fruit, they know they naked. They start knowing other things too. So why is he always ostracized as such a bad guy? If you know what I'm saying, I now know things and I didn't know things before. That's my
That means you
question
got
you posing.
wiser, right? You getting older and wiser. That's what that means to me.
I
Ten
mean,
days,
well,
10 days ago, you didn't know how to make fire, but now, uh, 10 days go by, you see lightning or something, and it hit a tree, and now you done collected that fire from another branch, and you built you a little fire. Now you know how to make fire. So bam, you can say you wiser. You don't know. You notice you don't have clothes. You looking at this woman, titties and her private part, and it's making you get turned on. But when you look at nothing else, it don't do that. So you be like, dang, that's something, ooh, that's something sexy. That's nice. You might have just thought of it and been like,
so
hey, so yeah, that's
so
the
basically the serpent was saying, it says in the Bible that the serpent said, truly you won't death, you won't die, you will ascend and know, I don't know if I'm quoting this right, but know the knowledge of good and evil and be just like God. And
Mhm.
so was the serpent actually bringing light and truth to humanity as through the knowledge of good and evil. Like in instance, don't be such a good slave, no knowledge of self. Now, who I alluded to earlier when we were talking about Enoch was the Bible, the God of the old Bible, the true creator God, which we all can attest, we all feel it in our soul that it is a creator, or if you don't, it is what it is. Or was it, the rumored Anunnaki like Enki and Enlil? Enki was rumored to be the serpent, the one that brought knowledge and freed humanity, the one that had compassion but for humanity. And Enlil was supposedly the one that was, that was in control at the time, that was irritated with humanity. I think his exact quote in the Bible was, "We was too loud," or the what was it? The book of what was it? The Epic of Gilgamesh, when he said that Enki said we was too loud, so he decided to flood the earth and get rid of us. So I mean, who really was the good guy and the bad guy? I don't know if some of these we had an episode on Anunnaki. I don't know, are you guys familiar with that term? Now I'm definitely not advocating for devil worship or anything like that. But I think that we have been lied to, man. You know what I mean? Maybe we were, in my opinion, coerced and tricked into worshiping the devil the whole time.
Well,
Maybe it's all
well,
in reverse.
I think you're right, and you're alluding to it because if he was cast out and made to live on the earth until judgment, and he could have dominion down here, it would stand the reason I would elevate myself to be the guy that everybody worship, and then make the other guy the devil, right?
Yeah, he tricked. Just basically, trick humanity, in my opinion, into going along with the program. Because if you notice, these Anunnaki people, they were jealous, they were warlike, they wanted to, rule territory. They all had different territories with the pyramids. You got pyramids in Mexico, you got pyramids in China, you got, they all had different
They
dominions.
they
And
they have them in North America as well. They're called mounds. They just have been destroyed. Just we just
exactly,
not
it's
as
rumored that Antarctica and Alaska, and
we're just not
also
as
on
we're just
Mars.
not we're just not as familiar with them. We we true Tartarians know who we are. Skinny knows he's a Tartarian. Ziggy knows he's a Tartarian. We are waking up. That's why all these fires that happen around the United States happen because you didn't want us to know. So we know
I
now.
thought I was I thought I was a nigga from Mississippi, but at the crest. But anyway, but look, I'm serious about this, man. We don't wanna we gonna go and get into it, man. Was was Inky the serpent, and was Enlil the god of the what is of the Garden of Eden, or is the Bible referring to the true Creator God? What do y'all think about that? Let's go and dive into it, man. Let's go ahead and get banned and shut down today.
I mean, they got to be talking about the true guys, if you ask me.
If you
Elaborate.
ask me, if you ask me, I'm just gonna give the simple answer like he gave the simple answer. I'm going to say no. It's not the true creator because you know he knows all things. He wouldn't be asking like when he was creating everything. He wouldn't be just saying, "Hey, angels, I'm about to do this, that, and the third." Like I'm getting their approval. And if
Yeah,
these
it
beings
was. And
if
he won't be
these
like, go over
beings
here and invade and kill them people and cut off their foreskin.
exactly that's what I'm saying. That's a malicious evil type of guy. I wouldn't really want to worship him because he's like he a narcissist or something. You know what I'm saying? He like
Yeah,
a
he like
DT. He like a DT.
take
You know what it is?
what's a DT drill sergeant? No, he was a DT. We still got you, CJ.
Yeah, I'm still here, brother. I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I'm
We
saying what
we
you
in it
say. You say
to
he like a DT. What's that?
Donald Trump, man, getting us in trouble, man. Going to war.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not good.
He like a like a
The
crazy leader character. Okay. My bad. I
the
didn't.
the if we go to war, man, this is what I elect. I want all convicted felons. You know what I'm saying? Ones that have been released and ones that are currently incarcerated to be eligible for parole if they go serve in the army. How many of
Oh, that'd
y'all
be too
was
much like
signed?
right, man. They got structure. They got a check to keep them out of trouble. They got structure, and they got a way to change their life, man. It'd be too much like right. You know what I mean? But they always gonna say, "Oh, what about the violent felon? What if they gonna get higher on the job? Or we're looking for our best and brightest." So, but if you can go through basic training and get in this program, if you choose, this is not mandated. What I would say is, guys, you get out if you want another chance in life. If you especially if you young YNs, you know what I mean, before you throw your life away, let's get a program for them. Hey, y'all can go and get into the military at this age when you got all
Right.
this testosterone flow. You know what I mean? Look, you on this probation, you can do this, you can go this way, or you can go that way. You can continue this path of destruction, and then you're back in jail in poverty, or you can go that way. I mean, we should implement that, man. But now I'm not saying for crazy, psychopaths and mental health people and all that. We don't need just anybody in the around all that top secret and trusted position, but it should be a pathway.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to make, you know what I'm saying, instrumental to reconnect these brothers back and sisters back into society. You know, you let them out, you say you're reforming them inside, or you're what are we doing to them then? If reform is not happening where they're trusted at work, if they're not educated on a type of skill or labor that they can perform that's essential to the functioning of society that we're losing with these immigrants that's not showing up to work anymore. We need jobs like these made available to the convicted felons that have been denied opportunities after they've done time or done their crime, and then they're looking for retribution later on.
But yeah, this is a small audience, man. A lot of people don't talk about, man. But you know what? If all fellas and like-minded individuals like such as yourself, you know what I mean, and all people that really do care about humanity, if y'all want to back Black Lives Matter and black all this stuff, Democrats, let's back this. Let's y'all care so much about humanity, and you know what I mean. Y'all want to champion the people. How about we get behind this movement, everybody? I know we all can unite on this one. That we can, and I suggest, and I warn the Democratic community, man. If you want people like us to start back joining and get back aligned with y'all, stop making it such about LGBT and all this, and let's get back to what's really going on with humanity. If y'all care about humanity, this is a cause that's affecting the people. And guess what? It's a big voting pool. Even though they try to say that fellas can't vote, but I think after a while we can vote. You know what I mean? I think I voted a couple times. I don't know. I think you got to be on probation or something like that. I don't know if it's with the state or whatever, but it is a voting pool. We got the most incarcerated people, probably the most biggest felon civil population in the world. And so we all pull
You,
together
you,
and
you do
are
know
supportive.
you do know in prison that's the only place slavery is allowed, right?
Exactly. But now it's
So
time for us to
continue.
fight back.
Exactly.
And here at the Just Talk Show, that's what we all about. And so I ain't just here just talking. I'm sending a message out to all felons, and I'm reaching out to the Democratic Party. Let's get behind this effort. Let's get behind this effort so we can transition and become a stand up member of society, because most people, you know what I mean, that's been through that, they really are smart and they know what's going on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask that everybody just pool together, all felons, all like-minded individuals, and we're gonna see if we can start swaying these things in our direction. Because after a while, you know what direction they're going. They're just gonna replace everybody with the robots. Not gonna need the grunt on the field to go infiltrate and kick the door no more when they got robots doing it. And whether you know it or not, you know robots can pick strawberries too. So what y'all think about that?
Well, that's what they're doing in these factories, and you saw it firsthand. You know what I'm saying, in the manufacturing industry where you live. You know, but that's the next wave of thing. If you let the tech giants continue doing what they're doing with Amazons and these things like that, they say it's because of back injuries, knee injuries, and other type of injuries that employees are sustaining, and it's the type of lawsuit money that they're having to pay out. But that's not the case. The case is whereas if they can get a robot to do it, it's less filling, there's no retirement, it's only work until you're broke, and then I'm gonna just replace you with this new version that we already have on the shelf. We were just waiting, getting the life shelf out of you before we discarded you. You know, it's no feelings involved, but you know, with people, it's feelings involved, and then you were using that as an occupation, but at the same time they made you expendable because you were labor. You know, that's why we have to think with our minds instead of our bodies as far as work. You know, we have to. If you're not using your mind to work, then you need to consider another line of work because your mind is the most powerful thing. The doing the work is that's a great thing, but thinking about it and having other people act on it because you're pulling the string. You're like the puppeteer behind the thing. You're not the face of the league. But you're controlling the face of the league. Is if you know what I'm saying. You got to be. You know. You got to be like Ghost from Power. You know. You ambiguous. You know. You're not. You're straddling the fence. You're a good guy, but at the same time, you're a bad guy as well.
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right, though, man. I mean, just to speak truth to power, maybe we are just wasting our time trying to just really advocate for a labor field because it's inevitable that these. I mean, it's just numbers, man, ones and zeros that an employer would pick a robot over a person. You know what I mean? It's I mean that's like a given. That's gonna happen. It's natural progression of things. So we do need to lean more into our mind and robot proof economies. You know what I mean? We can't just depend on social media because they can shut that down at any time. And we can't depend on factories because they can replace. Where is the sweet spot where the average man, the felon, the black man, the common man that doesn't have a top notch credit score or something that their parents set up for them? You know what I mean? We got people that have brought themselves up from their proverbial bootstraps. I don't know if Warren Buffett was a poor man, but he invested. I don't know what it was at Walmart or something, and he became one of the most richest people. So it's we have these stories of people that came up from nothing. But the numbers say that the average man that's trying to make it to society, what we do trades, we we invent something, we build a company, you know what I mean? Or you go work with a company and you put your time and and energy into that and climb the ranks, you know what I mean? So where is the sweet spot for those who that didn't have that opportunity or just blew it and trying to figure out something now that didn't get the corporate gig.
That's the actual question. You know, that's the question that we need to be asking black economics. Like, what's this black guy who's always criticizing that Omar, whatever his name is? But yeah,
Oh,
this is
Dr.
what we
Omar
need.
with his
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, yeah.
But see,
That's
all
what
these
we
dudes do,
need.
man, they just talk. And I don't mean I want you to finish, but all these dudes do, man. See, that's what the Just Talk show. We ain't like them. We ain't trying to be like them. We ain't just talking just to get a name. We trying to find a solution. This man, he can sit up here and talk about all this about pro-black America, but he ain't got no solutions. He trying to scam on the school, man. We got to get these fools about the way, man. And finally, listen to somebody like CJ and like Ziggy, man. What's really going on? What we putting down on the Just Talk show?
Yeah, but yeah, if we could get they type of pools like SG was saying, man, we could get that off the ground, man. So I'm charging him right now. Hey, if you listening, help these fellas, man, get a job. They need jobs too, man, and there's jobs out there because you know the immigrants are scared to work because they scared if they go to work, they won't go home. They won't make it back home. So let's make it where everyone can work, man, no matter what.
Okay. Okay, CJ. I'm about to hold you to what are some industries you think that a sweet spot we should get into once we get this coalition of people going? We ain't just trying to pander to them. We ain't just trying to scam them out their money for their support. What realistic? What really can we do if the robots, like I said, if the robots gonna take over, and if it's too late to try to
I'm
be a doctor.
I'm I'm a proponent of not supporting so much the robots. You know what I'm saying? And the tech. You know, it's one thing about having what I'm saying, some nice things in life, man. But it's one thing up to just being oh this little gadget girl you got. You seen the Meg movie, and then they got a part two out now. What if the robot goes rogue, man? What if it gets sentient? What if it gets self-aware where it wants to survive and will kill us? This is the thing that these economicists and these other people that don't have souls need to be discussing, man, because they don't care. They're reptilian. They don't have what we have. They don't care about eating babies. They don't care about these things like that. Things that we are appalled by. Things that will make us cringe. Things that will make old ladies not sleep at night. You know, those are the things that they do and goes on all the time, and no one wants to say anything about these missing children, anything wants to say about these missing people who've gone missing, their organs taken, if their body, if they're ever discovered, most of the time it's organless. These are the things we need to be self-aware of. People care about your people more than to just forget about them, man. People out there might steal their organs, man, or kill them as a result because their organs are high dollar these days. People is not getting a second chance. That's somebody's second chance at life.
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. But we got these handful of people, man. We want to hear from Ziggy too up in here. So Ziggy, what you think about this? We got these
Go ahead.
handful of people, man. Well, I want to, I want to hear your opinion on this. We got these handful of people. They call it a technocracy. These tech, computer engineers, right? Now, who'd say that this is they world, this is they God. I mean, they wouldn't care if the robot took over or AI took over because, hey, I created it. I'm gonna be one with the robot. I created it. I'm part of. What I'm saying, I'm trying to ascend and be a God or whatever. What I mean, myself. So they putting out. I mean, but the rest of the population, like we just sitting back docile while these people, what I'm saying, basically creating a new God, creating a new something that they can't control, man. And I think the cat is out the bag. I mean, it ain't the reversal ain't in. So where do we fall in, man? I mean, I predict in about 20 years, man, like all these movies used to say, we're gonna be under a technocracy where we got drones following over and social credit score and humanity is on the downswing with population, and we're gonna really have to have haves and have nots be forced into these smart cities and where your credit card don't work if
You
you ain't
you
clocked
seen you
into the
seen
factory.
the you saw the movie with Justin Timberlake when he got the little
The
thing
time,
on his wrist,
time,
yeah, where you get time,
exactly,
yeah. That's where the
exactly.
social class is gonna become, where you get time. Time is gonna become, because that's gonna be the last thing left. How can a nigga just take your time when your time ain't even promised? You see what I'm saying? But that's what
Exactly.
they tell us. So everything is they put it in front of your face for a reason, and you're just not capitalizing on the moment when you saw it. What else could it mean? What else can it mean? That's what you need to ask yourself. What else can it
I
mean?
mean, well, maybe AI could give you more time because if you do put your consciousness and fusion with AI, I mean, if you believe in the soul that you are not just a person, but you are a soul that inhabits a body, You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody ever on this listeners have had an out of body experience. I never had one, but I some people say when they have that experience, they know that okay, well, I'm not just a person. It is something else than I do have a soul that's inhabiting this body. Now, these transhumanism, they trying to transfer their soul into different robots and all this stuff like that. And then even like these movies, these video games like Cyberpunk, where we're gonna merge with machines to where okay, I need a new arm. I can buy me a souped up, glitched out arm. Shit, my dick don't work. I get a souped up dick with an implant with a LED charger and that vibrate. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? People gonna start integrating. I mean, it's already happening, man. You know what I mean? So my question is, do we fight it or do we be
That's
like the
the
people on
thing.
Cyberpunk?
That's the
Well,
thing.
you can't beat them joining it. You got
If,
to use the shit to be able to
if
fight back.
the people with the Neuralink, man, they're gonna be able to control the computer, man, just by thinking about it. You see what I'm saying?
So
They,
even
they,
there, it's gonna create
they,
too. And man, you remember I
that's
told
gonna
you to
put.
watch that movie called Gattaca? Did you ever check it out?
I haven't had a chance to, but I'm still, what I'm saying, that I have it on my list.
Whenever you do, man, check it out because it's talking about the same exact thing we're talking about, but it's specifically talking about the CRISPR technology. Now, this movie came out in the 90s or something like that, I believe, early 2000s, but it was talking about how the CRISPR technology now where you can go to China, like Lil Booster did, and get your baby eyes a certain color, or you can, have it to where it's immune to AIDS and diabetes, and you can pick the sex and all that stuff. And so it's even
Oh
getting to the
yeah,
point where
yeah.
gene editing is a thing. You know what I mean? They haven't brought it to the of course they're not gonna bring it to the to the common people because we don't need they don't have no interest in us being healthy. But that's what it really is gonna really do, man. The people that can afford to have their baby edited, let me just go and speak plainly. The people that can afford to have their baby edited is gonna have super babies. And if you just having regular ghetto in the hood babies, your baby ain't gonna be able to compete with these super babies. This baby is immune to disease, has genetically been made to be the most smartest baby it is, to be an athlete, whatever. And yo coming ghetto in the hood, baby, is gonna be obsolete. I hate to tell you, that's what Gattaca's about. So what are you y'all guys familiar with CRISPR? I mean, let's get deep in this motherfucker. I mean, it's really going, this stuff is really happening, people. While we watching Love Island.
Well, the Germans did try to do that with their blonde hair, blue eyed experiment, and it did work for a certain, what I'm saying. They had taller women and these things and had other features, but that's what you were going for, you know what I'm saying? And that might look dominant to you, it just depends on what all in your eyes. What are your world views? Because I have Mansa Musa views. He was the richest man ever, so that's my aspiration to be just like him.
Yeah, he went along spreading his wealth out through throughout the Africa, giving away gold,
That,
changing the
that,
economy.
that's called philanthropy. When you just give money away,
Yeah,
he was a philanthropist before philanthropy was a thing.
yeah, but you think people tried to jack his caravans along the way when he was coming through
Why?
the
Well,
territory?
if he just gonna give it away, why Jack? If everybody he's encountering, he caused the inflation of gold that caused the market to crash. He had to come back and buy all the gold back in whatever currency they were working in because he just decimated those places, man. So that's not always a good thing to give it. He noticed that as when he came back from his pilgrimage that he had, you know, destroyed these people's economy because he had given away and it had basically became trash and it was just lying in the streets because he had destroyed the economy on it. And he went and bought it all back and then put it back and reset the economy, man, because too
Even though
much
he was
of a
doing a
good
good
thing.
thing, it really was. It really, I mean, I guess to the people that first people that got that gold, they were balling. I guess to the people
Yeah,
that was selling them shit, they were like, nah, we can't sell y'all this no more, nigga. Y'all got too much money.
yeah. Or you got too much gold. We got too much gold now. We can't move it.
Well, we all know that the Anunnaki, man, they we don't say we all know, but I believe that the Anunnaki are one that made gold valuable. I mean, gold really doesn't have a I mean, it's a good metal conductor for making circuits and stuff like that. And then if they use
Yeah,
it to repair the atmosphere, yeah. But
I
let
was
me
just
land
gonna
right
tell
quick.
you,
But go ahead.
it's used in all type of electronic equipment. That what I was gonna say. The simple
Okay,
term of
so
it.
what else? So what else besides that? If
It's a
you, I mean, we
conductor.
all know corn has a value. We know oil has a value. Our economy was based off of gold, but or the petrodollar. But you know what I'm saying? Diamonds, they cut, they what I mean, they good for cutting certain different stone. And but just far as just the shininess of it, what gives it value? I mean, is it just I believe it's all a control system, you know what I mean? Money was just a
Yeah,
form of okay, if we
it's
can't whip you and be our slave. We'll just make this fiat currency. We'll make you work for this imaginary thing. We say this is valuable. Since the beginning of human time, people have established gold as a valuable thing. You know what I mean? So, but does it have? You can't make a sword out of it. You can't eat it. You know what I mean?
it's supposed to be the rarity of it. How rare something is makes it more valuable. Like diamonds, that started coming up, recently because it was always silver and other things back in other times. So, they had the gold rush, but everybody was trying to get the gold, but back then, most people just had silver, what I'm saying, stuff. That's why when they had the war, came around everything up, man. They're like, come on, we need that so they can make
We need
bullets and
that
stuff.
gold. I mean, if it's just the rarity of it, I mean, I can go find some fireflies. I seen one firefly, first firefly I've seen in about 7 years. Let me capture that and sell it for 10 G's. But I
Well,
digress. But
it depends on where the wilderness is, man. You're not getting close enough to wilderness. If you get outside the city in the Texas, like where I go when I visit my wife's sister, I'm not gonna just put her on, what I'm saying, her city on blast, but it's near Austin, but like an hour out, and nice suburban area, man. And you actually get a yard where you're not right on top of the neighbor, and you know what I'm saying. It's not a million people live on the street.
yeah, that's basically how most suburbs are right now. I mean, they right on top of each other. But these cheap houses. But look, I don't want to. Let's hear back from Ziggy. So my real question about this whole thing, before we get too deep, before we get off the whole technocracy thing, and the whole thing about the felons and where we go from here. Basically, my question is to you, Ziggy: do we join AI, the robots, and be freedom fighters within it? You know what I mean? Like we the hackers, we using this AI to like we did on the streets. You know what I mean? We pirates. You know what I mean? We trying to we trying to beat the system. Can't beat it, join it, or do we just fight against it and try to use our traditional roles and try to stop it from coming in, like CJ was saying? Like, so where do you see this going? You know what I mean? Cause do you think the robot's gonna take over? And if you do we can't beat them, join them, or where do you see this going?
Well, first I want to say like and subscribe. To all the viewers. We appreciate you. Um, well, I think we should make it to a point where they can limit themselves. Once they get to a peak, you know what I'm saying, they can't go further than that, because once they get so far gone, that's when it becomes an issue to where they can try to take over, and then we won't be able to stop them. So if it's always a way to stop it, then I think that, and they can't override it, then that's always a option to go. So we don't have to worry about that. That's up to the creator. Like I said, they have to make sure they implement that. If they don't put that into, if they don't put that into
Mute up,
the
CJ, right quick. Just Top Show. Mute up right quick, CJ. Keep on going, Ziggy. We had a little audio.
yeah, if they don't put that into the system to where they shut down after they start having them type of thoughts of taking over or trying to override, then that's, what I'm saying, the system creator themselves, the software developer needs to make sure that that is implemented in that software, so that we don't have to worry about rebelling against robots and them going into the system and breaking everybody or doing certain stuff. We just got to keep them on the good side. As far as that, it's always gonna be the evil villain somewhere that's trying to create a robot to do the exact opposite of what I just said. So with that being said, we just got to know how to a way to stop it. As long as it's a way to EMP and stop it or do whatever we gotta do to shut it down some type of way, then that's what we gotta do. Because they
Man,
don't
well, that's
stay
so
charged.
crazy
They
though,
don't stay
man.
charged forever. They eventually they gotta charge up. So they don't have forever power. So
I mean, yeah, well, we building, we supposed to be Trump and them signed a bill where they putting billions into building these data factories, and they talking about using nuclear power to power them and everything. So that's basically gonna bring in the AGI, which is automatic general intelligence. But what's so crazy about that? I seen a report the other day that China actually puts inside of their AI that exact thing, a certain code that where it wouldn't be ethical and try to go against anything for humanity. But these tech giants in America, they not even putting it in their system. I mean, it's like they wanted to backdoor them or whatever. It's even been reported that some of these AI systems have been blackmailing. I don't know how credible the site was. It's the Fox News article from 4 weeks
it's
ago.
gonna be it's
That,
gonna
that
be
uh
some trial and error. It's gonna be some trial and error that they're gonna have to
well
work
well
out to
let me
keep
finish. Let me land for the audience. It was saying that I wish I had this link to make sure, but y'all can check it out. That some of these new AI systems has even blackmailed they owners, like when they try to potentially set them down when they're developing, and even they develop code to where they won't shut itself off. Now, I mean, that's showing you right there that if this is true, that these things have they're gonna keep their with self preservation going. So, I mean, if it's doing that, what else is gonna do? Basically. And I work with AI, man. This shit is amazing, bro. I mean, this is
That's what
fast as hell.
all of us try. That's what all of us try to do, and that's the danger of making AI. It wants to stay alive, and that's going to be an issue if it between us and them, right? So that's going to be the ultimate, power struggle. That's where it's going to come in. At.
Okay. But do a guy like me that know this, you know what I'm saying? Elon said this too. Like he came out warning President Obama when he first was coming out, you know what I mean, with Tesla. He was warning everybody about AI. But then he backdoored and invested into OpenAI, which I think made ChatGPT. And now, and then he coming out with Neuralink, and his whole thing, if you can't beat them, join them. AI is gonna be so fast that we as humans got to compete. That's what he was saying. Why I'm gonna be able to. That's why he wanted to do Neuralink, because he was like, a human being gonna be obsolete if it's not on the same level integrated with the computer as AI. Only thing we got is our thumbs to be able to input and our fingers to be able to input it into a keyboard. Now, me personally, when I'm using my AI, I talk into it and it talks back to me. So you know what I'm saying? I don't even use the type, but once you get to the point where it's in your brain, all you gotta do is think about something, it's gonna instantly bring it up. So that being said, do we use AI? I mean, I know I do, or do we be like, nah, I ain't gonna mess with it. I'm gonna continue, you know what I'm saying, with my natural
I'm not
brain.
going. I'm not going. I'm going to continue on with my natural until I can't anymore, and then I'm going to just retire. I'm not going to put something in my body that could potentially be the mark of the, what I'm saying, the beast. And who knows what that is, man. I'm not putting computer links in my head. They didn't have that with Adam. They didn't have that with Adam. They didn't have that with Noah. Why we need that?
I mean, you're doing it right now. What you got in your hand right now?
I don't have anything in my hand. I know that I know the RL frequency of this is 5 millimeters. So as long as I don't have it in my hand or it's on something and not in my person, I never have it on me. I have them propped up on my desk. I have them on the charger, and the only time it's on me is if I'm walking, and then I have it in my either my pants pocket or my breast pocket because
Okay,
you
sir, but
know
are you using it though? Do you have a headset on, or do you just talking directly into the,
I'm
the device?
no, I have noise cancellation headphones.
Okay, so Right now, what I'm saying, you are integrated with a machine right now. That's why you know what I'm saying. People don't even realize that. Right now, you are Android. You have a headset phone on that's connected to your ear, and you're talking through a computer. Right now, you are integrated with a computer, with a machine. So
I'm
what's the difference in
interfacing.
putting it directly into your brain?
I'm I'm just interfacing with it because I have the
Exactly.
ability to take it on and take it off when it's in your brain. When it's surgically implanted and it's not natural, is certain complications that can go along with it. You know.
Well, I'm not saying that everybody needs to get a. I'm not advocating for the Neuralink. You know what I mean? Whatever. What I'm saying is that people don't realize that they are integrated with machines to even to this day. Everybody walk around with a
Well,
supercomputer in their hand all the fucking
this is the
time. Let's
thing.
just be real with it. Just talk.
Me and
So
you
who want to
aren't
pay about that?
paralyzed. So he said it's gonna give people that's paralyzed the ability to walk. So I'm not paralyzed, so I can't relate to that. Somebody that's paralyzed may want to walk. You see what I'm saying, Z? You see what I'm saying, SG? So if it's able to do that for somebody and give them, some type of form of life back, yeah, man, give it to them. But I'm saying I'm not. But somebody's, take that opportunity. I don't know what the long term effect gonna be for it, but hey, go ahead and get the short term effect of that. Get your life back.
Well, even though like I said, we're not even just talking about the implant. What I'm saying is, most people got to realize that they are already integrated with a machine right now, and they just don't realize. They walking around with a supercomputer attached to their hip. You know what I mean? Whether you're using it in frequency or whatever, I believe
Well,
most people utilize it.
what they say is a cell phone now is more powerful than the technology that was supposedly used to go to the moon. So
Yeah,
if
it's analog.
if that's the case, you know that's kind of scary, and maybe that's a reason why we can't go back. And it was all a hoax, and it's nothing to see. It's the dome, and you hit it, and then you can't go anywhere, and then you get claustrophobic, then you go crazy. So I hope
Well,
that's the reason why they don't want the people to know or go to Rupas Nigra and see the Black Rock and see the Four Rivers and see, that's why the most lucrative company ever is called Black Rock because we can't go to the North Pole because
yeah,
we will see. That's
the
also where
the
the Garden of
the
Eden.
curve the
That's where the
curve of
Garden of
Saturn
Eden.
is what
That's what.
and all that
That's
Saturn
where
goes.
that's where the Garden of Eden is hitting at, man. So that's so people understand.
Where
If you travel
That's
that
what the
far,
Garden of Eden is.
you're gonna fucking die. It's like being at Point Nemo.
exactly what you saying? Like
Yeah, like there's literally no possible way to even get back if you made it all the way there.
you talking about to the moon?
No, like Antarctica and shit. Like if you ventured out that far, like you have no resources or anything left. You used it before you even made it to the point.
I mean, shit.
That's why you die. That's why they don't want you to fucking go out there. It's not because there's aliens or some shit. It's because it's fucking unsafe.
I mean,
You
people have
literally.
been to Antarctica though.
No, I'm talking about like the places that you can go in Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
It's like not safe at all to venture out that far. You're not gonna have enough supplies, not enough anything.
Yeah, and I believe that's the reason why they do ban people from going to Antarctica because, like you said, it is no man's land and all that like that.
Like imagine being able to actually make it to that point, and there's just a bunch of dead bodies today. Nobody made it back. That's so fucking unsettling.
Yeah, that is.
They're like, we would rather just avoid that.
Okay, so the premise on Antarctica and all this technology in the moon, I mean, I can agree with that. That the moon is a whole nother subject. We can have a whole episode on the moon. But look, before we get there, I want to go and finish this conversation. Zig, if you're still there, let me ask you. I never did get. I want your full take on this one. Far as the AI, do you feel that that since human beings we are already using it, should we, like I said, should we embrace it, or should we, what I mean, final take, should we embrace it or should we fight against it? Because if I say if you fight against it, go ahead and put your phone down now and let's get some sticks and go to the woods.
That's why I said we gotta embrace it because I ain't gonna lie. At some point, we still need it. You know what I'm saying? It helps a bad situation. Put it like that. When you don't have to, like, say for emergencies, you know what I'm saying. You can call and get the help you need right then instead of having to rely on old methods of transportation. You know what I'm saying, where you would have to jump in your car and go there when you can call and already have some help come to you, or you know what I'm saying, just different scenarios, just like maps. You know, people don't want to go back to read maps when they can just have a GPS tell them where to go. You know, so I like I said, I understand the concept of dealing with technology. I just, like I said, I just don't want it to over advance itself and be able to fight us. That's all I'm saying.
He doesn't want the Terminator situation going on. I don't want the
Exactly. Yeah.
Terminator
Yeah.
situation going on, Skinny. I don't want
Exactly.
the Terminator to come true. I don't want the Matrix because that's all those stories is all the same. All that is
Exactly.
one thing. So I don't want that to come true where the man is obsolete and the computer has risen. I don't want that to take place, but your friend Elon is here to try to usher that age in, and I'm a firm believer in not doing it. But like I said, I'm not in a situation that he say he can fix with seizures and all these other type of ailments. So to
CJ,
each man is to each of their own.
CJ, Judgment Day has already happened. Come with me if you want to live. I can't do my Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation.
You're laughing. You laughing, but I believe you're correct, and we're living during the 1,000 year reign, man. It's time.
Well,
It's time to.
man, even they had to get their own Terminator, man, to fight against Skynet, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. And I'm gonna tell like to my fellas that listen to me, man, get with their AI, man, because if not, you're gonna be left behind. We got to work with that stuff. That's gonna be our secret weapon up under our belt. While everybody else want to sit around and act like it's not happening, Judgment Day has already happened. We need to take our same skills that we learned on the streets and apply it to business and apply it to advancing in this world using this AI, man. You know, so I use it all the time, man. It's groundbreaking. I actually sell it for all those just listening. If you want to get your AI agent assistant, holler at me. You know what I mean? I got all the different apps you can use to start your business and whatever. You know, so I use it daily from Canva and even the software that we're using right now to do this podcast on. It uses AI, artificial intelligence. You know what I mean, to make our clips and whatever. So let's definitely, you know what I mean. I'm advocating for, I got solutions. You know what I mean. Dr. Umar ain't got none. He talking about schools and white girls. Man, let's get this. Hey, let's get this AI popping because we ain't gonna be able to stop it. You know what I'm saying? We need to use it. You know what I mean? All this take the chip talk and all this stuff, man. All this stuff is semantics, man. We need to get this money. You know what I'm saying? How we gonna get it is by saving time. And what AI does, it saves you time. Like for instance, if I want to order some food and I'm in the middle of my broadcast, all I gotta do is tell my AI assistant, "Hey man, order me some DoorDash from Chipotle's right quick, and make sure that I send my last emails out that I had to do for the day. Bam, it's done. That's something that would took me an hour and a half to do. So you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like I
That's
said,
why I
we
said
can't
we
beat it,
need
George.
that. That's why I said we need that little technology sometimes. So I ain't against it, but like I said, just don't take it too far. You know what I'm saying? The world, you gonna handicap the world anyway. Just don't take it too far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So we just got to find that sweet balance. And I'm glad you guys said here at the Just Talk Show, we all have different opinions. You know what I mean? We don't ever advocate for one thing. Cause just cause I'm an AI enthusiast, the next man is, it's a naturalist. So but like I said, we can talk and have these conversations and find the sweet spot. But shit, we've been going for a minute, fellas. Y'all want to give a lightning round? Y'all want to get into these sports, anything to go ahead and wrap it up? Because we had a minute 18. We normally try to keep it at a minute 30. So we got about a good 10 minutes. I say, CJ, you can give a little sports breakdown and also, or you can expound upon some of those other topics. I mean, you go in a lot of places with Tartaria, with the moon, with the consciousness and all that. Go ahead and give a spear on that. You know what I'm saying? and give so we can let the audience know what they can comment on, what else they want to hear about us next. Just talk. You take it where you want to go. Oh, did CJ out of there? What about you, Ziggy? You heard the question. CJ was talking about Tartaria and all that. He loves to go on his spills on there. I know he'll be back in. But anywhere you want to take it for the last 10?
No, we'll just shut it down. I feel like we just like I said, we just uh I ain't got no comment on it. I'll be honest with you. I just because he CJ usually take it to another whole step with that. So you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what I'm saying. I like to let them lead out with it, and then I
Yeah, my
rebuttal it.
bad.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
my
just
bad. I
it
didn't mean
just
to put you on the spot, but I think he out for a second for a bathroom break. But I tell you what, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and cue this outro music if I can get it queued up. And like I said, we appreciate the audience being here with us. While I'm getting this queued up, Zicky, go ahead and shout out to the audience and take us out on the shout outs, and I get this outro queued up.
oh yeah, this is the Just Talk Show. We thank y'all for viewing us today. Like, subscribe, hit that button. Also can share or donate. Uh, the Cash App, Just Talk Godcast. Uh, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. We're gonna keep it real. Tell you what's the real. I ain't gonna lead you astray. They say don't put your faith in man, but it's all love over this way. All positive vibes. Maybe one day we'll everybody get to chime in and we can get your thoughts and we'll go from there and see who got the best idea. Maybe we'll get to write a new Bible.
All right, I heard that. Well, I don't know what's going on with this outro music, man. We're gonna go ahead and take it out though. We appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? This SG, the host with the most. We had CJ in the building. We got Ziggy in the building. We're gonna give a shout out to all the other guests. You know what I'm saying? CJ the professor. AJ the professor. MJ, you know what I'm saying? Spider, T-Bone, whoever else be on the podcast, you know what I'm saying? If I miss you, it's all good. But it's Just Talk Show. We out. Y'all go ahead and have a great day. And remember, the future's a little bright. We out.